So we all get stuck in life. We self-sabotage, we procrastinate, we pretend to be busy all the time and jump from shiny object to shiny object. And we do all of these things because of our unconscious programming. We don't realize this is going on because it's all happening automatically in our unconscious mind. And the beauty of it is you can change it. And here now we're going to talk about how we can change some of these unconscious behaviors.
This is the Middle-Aged and Miserable podcast.
Yes, and please subscribe so you never miss another episode. And if you like what you hear today, please leave us a lovely review and a like, because this really helps us reach other people with this content.
Yeah. All right then, Pat.
All right, go on.
A lot of us are stuck in life, right?
Indeed.
A lot of middle-aged people are stuck in life, right?
That's fair, yeah.
And we did a podcast recently, and we talked about 5 self-reflecting questions, some deep questions, and one of them was, where have you been stuck for the last 5 or 10 years? You know,
that was a good question.
Yeah, professionally or personally, where have you been stuck?
Yeah,
it's sort of deep, because it can really get you thinking about that sort of thing. So we're going to dedicate this podcast to expand on that question. Yeah. Where have you been stuck for the last 5 or 10 years?
Definitely. We've found that whenever we've asked people that question, they're like, wait, I've never really asked myself that question before. That's a really profound question.
Yeah, because there's a good reason for it. Mm-hmm. So by expanding on that question, we're going to ask why so many of us get to middle age and suddenly we kind of look at our lives and say to ourselves, well, why am I in the same place? Why have I been in the same place for so many years? And why have all those amazing things I thought I would achieve by now have not materialized? You know, and why am I not happy with where I am? Yeah. So today we're going to specifically get into those questions and why it happens to so many of us, and then we're going to talk about how to fix it.
Yeah, yeah. So let's just kick it off with a bit of a spoiler right now.
You're just going to kick it off by giving everything away right at the start.
Right at the very beginning. Because, you know, I mean, if you're a regular listener to the podcast, the audience are pretty I've got a pretty good idea.
Did you say pretty?
Sorry, did I say that?
Pretty. A
jolly good idea of why a lot of us get stuck. You know, we do talk about this a lot, and why we are not really where we want to be in life, whether it's professionally or personally. And again, they're going to guess that it's all for the same reason.
It is for the same reason.
That being the unconscious patterns that operate our lives and our internal programming. Yeah. It's all going on in the unconscious.
Yeah, exactly. So let's think of some examples. Mm-hmm. You might say to yourself, you're spinning your wheels in the job you're in. You want a higher paying job or a more fulfilling job.
Yeah.
You start looking online for new jobs. And then you get busy with other stuff. And then fast forward a few months and you're still sitting in the same job, but this time you're telling yourself it's not so bad after all.
That never happens, Chris, does it really? Or I don't know, let's look at it from a health perspective. Say, I don't know, one day you look in the mirror and you think, oh, I'm kind of gaining a few pounds, which magically it does happen at middle age.
Yeah.
And you know what? I'm going to go to the gym. I'm going to go on, or I'm going to jump on the treadmill or go for a run. And, you know, I'm going to start watching what I eat as well. Yeah, that's what I'm going to do. Yeah. And then after a few enthusiastic months, you tend to slip back to where you were previously. And all of a sudden those quick pounds kind of pop back on, don't they, really? And you end up back where you were.
Yeah, and I know what people are probably thinking. They're probably thinking, well, this can be explained away as, you know, it just wasn't the right time to get a new job, or it wasn't the right time to be hitting the gym.
Yeah, we've always got an excuse for why.
Yeah, but in both cases, you've kind of reverted back to where you are, and you're in that sort of stuck state, which is okay if it happens once.
Right. But then if it's a repeating pattern, it's not okay, is it? And that's usually the telltale sign that it's going on. Something's going on in your unconscious. It's an unconscious thing.
Yeah, but the trouble is with these unconscious things, these unconscious patterns, they're running in the background, and it's not obvious that they're there. You know,
it's like the autopilot, isn't it? You know, we're all running on autopilot, and we're going through life with our unconscious patterns quietly running in the background, keeping us where we are. and they limit our success, our behaviours, our limiting beliefs and unconscious patterns limiting our success, and you run around the same circles, and we don't realise it's going on.
No, you don't.
So to help people realise it's going on, let's talk about a few examples of how this kind of shows up in our life.
Yeah,
really, because it does manifest in all our lives. Really, this kind of pattern.
It does, right? So here's one, right? Self-sabotage. So you might want to improve your life in some way, and then one day it actually happens, and then in the coming weeks something bad happens and takes it away. So this is classic unconscious self-sabotage. So a money example of this could be, maybe you decide you want to improve your finances, and then one day, you get some extra money. You get an inheritance or something, a significant amount of money, and you're thinking things are looking up. And then suddenly a huge unexpected bill comes along from nowhere and takes it all away.
Yeah. There's a parallel to that. Lottery winners. There's another example. And I've said this before in a previous podcast. I think the stats are that almost 80% of lottery winners ultimately end up losing their winnings or giving it away, or somehow it just disappears.
Yeah.
And in both those examples, yours and the lottery winning example, somehow your life's improved in some way, financially in this case, and then something unexpected happens and it all just magically goes away and you're back to where you were. And that in this particular case, one of the unconscious beliefs that are running the show could be, I'm not somebody who deserves to have money.
Yeah.
I'm not somebody who has money. I've never had money. Therefore, I'm the kind of person who doesn't have money, and money is evil, or money is unsafe, or whatever reason it's out of our comfort zone. And we somehow manage to get rid of it.
Yeah, it's like in our minds where we say we better get rid of it before it gets taken.
Right.
It can be like this with relationships. This whole self-sabotage thing can come with relationships. Maybe everything's going really well in a relationship, and then maybe it's going a little too well. And then out of nowhere, you pick a fight over nothing.
Yeah.
And this can become a pattern. Like whenever things are going well, you find a way to make them not go well.
Yeah.
And the unconscious belief underlying here could be relationships always end in pain. Yeah. And so then your unconscious sabotages you to prove that is right, even though it's not.
Yeah.
But
there's a phrase, we all say it, this is too good to be true.
Yeah.
And that's not actually it's not an empowering thing to say at all.
Yeah.
And there's a side note. It's on this. You could easily dismiss all of this as coincidence, like this self-sabotage thing, or you're losing all your money or whatever. It could be considered coincidence, and maybe some element of it may be coincidence. But if it's an ongoing pattern, it keeps happening, it's more likely an unconscious pattern that's driving it, really. So you've got to ask yourself, if these coincidences still keep occurring in your life, you've got to ask yourself, what is happening to me on a regular basis, and why is it happening? Because it's you're effectively doing it to yourself.
Yeah. Another huge one is procrastination. So say you talk about starting up a side business, but you never really get it done. And you're always sort of working on it, Yeah. And that's classic sort of unconscious behavior, because that's when procrastination can set in.
Yeah.
So an example could be, you want to start this business, you got a particular product to create or marketing to do, but instead you spend a week on your company logo. Instead of actually building the thing that's going to be sold, or you want a better paying job, and instead of researching and applying for jobs, you spend a month meticulously updating your LinkedIn profile. So in both cases, you feel like you're busy.
Does that ring any bells?
So in both cases, you feel like you're busy, but these things are not important needle moving tasks.
Right.
And if this keeps happening to you, then it could be procrastination disguised as productivity. Essentially doing small tasks to avoid the big needle-moving, probably scary task that you don't want to do.
It usually does involve something scary and uncomfortable.
Usually scary, and it can become unconscious, because doing that, doing all this minutiae is not moving you forward.
Yeah.
And then, like, the unconscious programming, like the reason, it could be the same in both examples. Like the company logo, you're doing it because you have a fear of failing, of starting the company. You don't want to fail. In both, actually. The second one, the LinkedIn profile, you're concentrating on the LinkedIn profile because you've got a fear of failing at getting a new job. You know? So it's kind of weird. It's in both cases, the unconscious is saying, if I don't try, I can't fail.
That's an interesting concept to grasp, isn't it, that really? Because it's protecting you from failure, isn't it?
Yeah.
In that way. And I've been itching to come up with this example once you started talking about procrastination, and the logo thing really resonated with me because we did that.
Yeah.
When we first started our real estate business, we created the business, did all the legal stuff and all that. And then we spent ages, I don't know if you remember this, rather than go to meetups and network with people and start creating deals, we spent ages on the font and the branding and the colour scheme for the website.
We did a lot of that. In our defence, we did it in between. It's not like we did nothing for months.
I know, but it felt like we spent this inordinate amount of time working on the bloody logo or the letterhead and stuff like that, rather than just spend hours on let's find deals.
Because going to a meetup and going
scary.
up to a stranger is scary.
It was scary.
You've been stuck at the same professional level for 5 years, maybe longer.
You want more success, more money, a better performing business, but somehow something keeps holding you back?
What if that something is your unconscious programming? Because what we get in life is what we believe we deserve deep down in our unconscious.
And here's the truth. You are where you are in life right now because that's where you believe you deserve to be.
You can't outrun your beliefs. That is why so many people struggle for years, even decades, without making any real breakthroughs.
We help middle-aged professionals like you. We can upgrade your mindset, upgrade the habits, and crucially, remove the unconscious limiting beliefs that are blocking your success.
So you can finally step into the career, the wealth, and the freedom that you know that you're capable of.
So ask yourself, what's it costing you not to change?
Contact us at coaching@patandchris.com or reach out to us on Instagram.
Act now and take back control of your life.
All right, what else? How else can we get stuck in life?
Okay, and there's another thing that I would argue we were guilty of and perhaps still are to a certain extent, and I guarantee a lot of people are, being busy all the time. This illusion of being busy and equating it to being productive is nothing but that, is it? It's an illusion. So rushing from task to task and filling up your calendar full of busy work and I've not got time for anything, and you wear this busyness. That's a new word, by the way, as a badge of honor, because you say to yourself, well, I'm being really busy, I'm really important, and I'm being productive, and I've got a business and I'm busy. And I think the unconscious thing that's going on here, the driving force behind it, is somewhat attributed to your self-worth, because being busy does make you feel important. And I think that's why we do it to a certain extent. It's not just, it could be procrastination as well, being busy on all this busy stuff, but it's more like a self-worth thing.
Yeah.
You know, you're a lot of people equate their self-worth to being busy and occupied.
Yeah, I mean, it's this whole productivity equals worth thing. It's probably taught from parents or schools early in life.
Right.
You know, it can result. You know, it's weird. It can result in a feeling of guilt when you actually when you take a rest.
When you're not busy. Yeah.
You're not busy. That means you're not doing something. You know.
I think rather than your parents just teaching you, if you simply have lived in a home where your parents are busy all the time and you've seen your parents working constantly, it'll have the same effect on your unconscious.
Yeah, and being busy all the time is closely linked to working too hard for success, staying loyal to the struggle, you know, believing success must always be hard, because I've had this one. Like I've always worked hard, and I was taught to work hard, and that's not a bad thing.
Right.
But it can be tough when you want to earn money while you sleep, which should be the goal really for most people starting business.
Yeah, that's true.
So I've had to work on this. I think maybe my parents taught me something like you got to work yourself to the bone if you ever want to get ahead.
You don't deserve success unless you work hard, can you?
Yeah, and then as an adult, suddenly I noticed that I was always working long hours. I mean, when we were in Europe, we were in France, in Paris. We're always working
We
long
were.
hours, weren't
And
we?
that's another thing that we would wear as a badge of honor, isn't it? Because you would come in on a Monday and say, "Yeah, I'm super busy and important because I worked on Saturday, and they needed me on Saturday."
You did 10 hours Saturday, I did 11.
Yeah, that was it. Yeah, we used to do that, and we did it ourselves when we first started our side business. For I mean, you like you said earlier, you have to work hard and long hours often to move the needle. In fact, really, but we didn't realize at the time that maybe something going on in the background was we need to work hard, therefore we will get success.
Yeah.
It's not necessarily the case.
Yeah, if I don't
You work
struggle,
smart.
I don't deserve it type thing.
Yeah, there's this, it's a cliche now, really, isn't it? But work smart instead of work hard.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. What else is there? What other patterns are there that people can get stuck in?
There's something that you keep banging on at me about that I do, and I must admit I am very guilty of it, and I appreciate the accountability. It's something that we've named the shiny object syndrome. I don't know if it's...
We haven't named it. Everyone calls it that.
Is that what they call it?
Yeah.
I don't know. It's been so long that we've called it something. Anyway, it's huge, this one, because we often are guilty of never finishing anything, because there's a new gloriously magical new project that just is begging to be started. So you don't finish one job and you jump straight into the other job because it's a shiny object.
This is a common thing, like a lot of people do this. And just thinking about that, the unconscious reasoning could be, there could be a secondary gain there. So when you switch to something new, it kind of gives relief and excitement.
Right.
And it protects you from failure on the current project. If you keep skipping ahead, you're never failing, are you?
No, that's true.
And this goes back to NLP speak, which is that the idea that every behavior that the unconscious does serves a positive intention. So in this case, it's protecting you from failure because you're constantly moving on.
That's a good one. That I didn't actually appreciate that until you brought that up to me a while back. That this is what's going on in the background, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Your mind is protecting you from failing, so don't finish it.
Yeah. Another thing in NLP speak is they talk about submodalities, and we all sort of see thoughts in our heads in certain ways. And submodalities are the way we see thoughts in our heads. So when we make a thought in our head, they're like movies, aren't they? And the submodalities are the details of these movies. So some movies in your head are bright, some are darker, some are loud, some are quieter, and some are close and some are far away. And in shiny object syndrome, your mind is creating the new thought or idea as a movie which is bright and it's close and it's way more vivid than the current task that you've got. So it literally feels more compelling and you want to do it.
Yeah, and that's why it's called shiny object, because it's a bright, shiny object. Hey, look at
It's a shiny movie in your head. All right, so we covered a lot of patterns that are... there are plenty of other ways you can get stuck unconsciously in life, isn't there?
There's, before we jump onto the how do we fix it, there's one more I want to talk about, and I don't know how. I think it's relevant to how we behave unconsciously, like our unconscious is basically controlling our behaviors, and I don't know if it's relevant to how stuck we are in life, but I'm going to talk about it anyway. And being Brits. And there's plenty of like TV sketches and movies about this. It's classic Hugh Grant. We tend to over apologize. Yeah. And it's going on unconsciously. We're always when we say apologize, it's not like pardon me like the Americans. It's we're constantly going, oh sorry for this.
Well, sorry. we do use sorry for excuse me.
Yeah, we do.
If you're walking through a crowd, we don't say excuse me. We say sorry.
It's like sorry to bother you. It's so bloody British, that is. Anyway, and it only really occurred to me that I was doing it until a good friend of mine a few years ago. I would say something to him, and he's an American guy, and he's a business owner, and he's somebody I really look up to, and he said, Pat, don't stop apologizing. You didn't do anything wrong. And I paused and I thought, wait, I didn't do anything wrong. So why am I constantly saying sorry? But that's just an example anyway of...
But it's unconscious.
It is unconscious. And I think the reason we do it, if I get down to the root cause almost, I think it's conflict avoidance. If we constantly apologize for something, we're avoiding conflict.
Yeah.
And I think that's what's going on in our unconscious as Brits, but I think everybody.
Yeah, no, that's a good point. Yeah. And, now you know about it, you can change it.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
That's a good segue because we talked about these unconscious behaviors. So
let's change it.
That's one of the key things is being aware of it. You can't change anything unless you're aware of it.
Right.
So to make a change, any kind of change in your life, you've got to be aware of the problem first. So, like all this stuff we've talked about is unconscious. So it's normal that you're not going to be aware of it because it's automatic.
Yeah.
So the trick is to get out of this automatic mode and start paying attention. And a good thing to do is ask yourself some questions, like we said at the top of the show.
Yeah.
Where am I stuck in life? Where have I been stuck for the last 5 to 10 years? And what behaviors are keeping me stuck? What do I constantly, what do I do consistently that keeps me stuck?
Yeah. I've got some other questions that you can help you with that as well. Like where haven't I achieved something that I want to achieve? Like come up with a specific example. You'd set yourself, I want to be able to do this. And you said that like 5 years ago. Where have I not achieved something that I want to achieve, or whether that's in a relationship, whether it's in a career, or something that you happen to want to do in financially or even in happiness? Am I as happy as I thought I would be? What behaviors have I got that keep me from achieving what I want as well? That's another good one. What am I constantly doing that keeps me stuck?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
What's my mindset? What do I believe I deserve in life?
Yeah.
And what do I believe I can achieve?
Yeah.
What thoughts give me my mindset? What do I say to myself?
Yeah.
What language do I say inside my head?
We should pause now and let people write this down because there's some gold right here.
Yeah. So just ask yourself some questions like that and start to self-analyze your behaviors and become aware of how you are operating unconsciously, because we are all operating unconsciously, aren't we?
We are indeed. So let's have a quick recap.
All right. So you're just recapping what we've just talked about. We've got how to fix it coming up, right?
There's some really good fixes coming up in a minute. So I'm going to recap. So we all get stuck in life. We self-sabotage, we procrastinate, we pretend to be busy all the time and jump from shiny object to shiny object. And we do all of these things because of our unconscious programming. We don't realize this is going on because it's all happening automatically in our unconscious mind. And the beauty of it is you can change it. And here now we're going to talk about how we can change some of these unconscious behaviors.
All right, then. So you start off then with...
Right, ready?
Yeah,
procrastination.
Okay.
I got the first one.
Go on in.
And this is tough to do, really, because it means actually doing that thing that you're putting off rather than procrastinating. But if you tell yourself...
So you don't have a magical solution where we don't have to do the hard thing?
No, you've always got to do the hard thing.
Oh, okay.
But if you tell yourself, I've only got to do this for 5 minutes, it gives your mind this, okay, well, it's only 5 minutes. That's not very long. Then I can go and procrastinate. So you do it. You bite the bullet. You go and do it for 5 minutes. But the beauty of that is... once you've started, you've got momentum. And then you won't be doing it for 5 minutes. Even though you tell yourself, 5 minutes, good, do this thing, you will actually carry on with it.
I like it. Self-sabotage. You receive something good in life and then just adopt reinforcing self-talk. Like, this is happening because I deserve it. And you just, if you keep saying that every time you get something good, over time, it will reprogram your mind for worthiness.
Yeah.
Likewise with celebrate wins, like write down 3 wins from yesterday each morning. It doesn't matter what it is. It just normalizes you achieving things and keeping and holding on to those successes.
You do that every morning, don't you?
I do, yeah.
In fact, you tell me that not only do you do that every morning, you've started to behave during the day in a way that you've got some material to write down in your journal the next day.
Yeah, you just start tuning into it. We talked about your reticular activating system. You're starting to find the wins, not the losses.
Yeah. I got the busy all the time one.
Oh, yeah.
There's one. So here's one. Again, each morning, write down one thing that you have to do that'll move your life forward to wherever it is you want to take it. And do that one thing. You must finish that one thing before you do anything else. Because even if it's a 5-minute job, you've done it. You've moved the needle. You can feel great all day about it, and then just go and procrastinate and do shiny objects.
You can do busy. You can be busy all day, but the most important thing is
move the needle. That's the important thing.
Yeah. Working too hard. Write down 3 examples of times when something good came to you into your life easily.
Yeah,
maybe you met your partner and it was a coincidence and it was easy. Maybe you found a deal one day, or you had an unexpected opportunity.
Yeah.
Just start sort of writing them down, and then come up with a mantra, like using just to reprogram your mind using auto suggestion. Say something like "Success can be easy."
Yeah.
So, over and over again.
I'll give away the mantra that we use a lot, and I've sometimes, I'm doing something, whether it's a DIY project or whether it's something to do with the business or anything. It's when things get difficult, stop and say to yourself, "What would this look like if it was easy?"
Yeah,
and then you focus on what is the easy path, and more often than not, in fact, the easy path is the right path.
Yeah, we say that a lot, don't we?
All right, shiny object syndrome.
Okay.
So before starting a new shiny thing that's bright and colourful in the movie of your mind, force yourself, this is a good one, and again, it's not easy to do, but force yourself to visualize finishing that thing that you are wanting to stop halfway through.
Your current project.
The current project, right. See it done. Feel what it's like. Feel the relief and the pride that you have in yourself for finishing that current project. And then ask yourself, would I still want to start this new shiny thing having already finished the current one? The feeling you get from the current one. And that's that dopamine thing that kicks in. So I think that you probably find that the dopamine hit of finishing, or at least visualizing finishing that job, is better than actually starting this new one and procrastinating. And
I like it. Kind of like you're concentrating on the reward of completion rather than the thrill of starting something new.
Exactly. Yeah.
So, okay, we came up with those quick rapid fire ways to sort of fix some of these things, but you can make further changes if you work on changing your unconscious programming with affirmations, visualizations, neuro-linguistic programming techniques, hypnosis, and we talk about that stuff on this podcast all the time. So keep listening and you'll hear all about that stuff, which are other ways to change your unconscious patterns. So should we recap then, Pat?
Yeah, let's do that. Okay, middle-aged people, such as us, can get stuck in life. And the root cause of it is our unconscious programming.
Yeah, and some examples of these unconscious behaviors we went through. We talked about self-sabotage, both professionally and personally.
Yeah, procrastination.
Yeah, we talked about being busy all the time, working too hard.
Shiny object syndrome.
Talked about shiny objects. Yeah. And just talking about how becoming aware of how you're operating unconsciously is the first step to change. And then we just talked about some practical tips how to tackle some of these unconscious behaviors.
And there we have it. If you like what you just heard, please subscribe and like so you never miss another episode. And if you want more of this content, check out our social media for more ways to avoid being middle-aged and miserable.